Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today we are going to be discussing a rumor which has been circulating around that said the upcoming NVIDIA flagship graphics card, which people have been referring to as the GTX 2080, could be costing as high as $1,500, but that is just a rumor and it really has no basis or grounding in reality whatsoever. So I'm kind of here to debunk this rumor, which so much of the tech press has picked up and done stories on as if it actually even had a reference point, as if someone said, I spoke to an insider and they said this. There's not even that involved in this rumor. It's literally just the thoughts of one person over on the website Tweaktown saying that this is the way it is and that's the way it is. Well, unfortunately, that's not how things work. You can't just think something and make it fact, although the current landscape of the news media would have you not to believe that, because it seems that anyone who just has a fleeting thought and a website to type it up on, then it instantly becomes fact and the rest of the news is starting to report it. But the issue with the whole thing being the $1,500 price point on the GTX 2080, I just wanted to get this information out there for people that thinking this might actually be true. It's not. I mean, I guess it could happen, maybe, but I sincerely doubt it, and I'm happy to tell you why here today. First off, it wouldn't make any sense for NVIDIA to launch the cards at $1,500. They would completely be shooting themselves in the foot by that with consumers. Consumers would have a lot of outlash towards NVIDIA if they were to launch the 2080 at $1,500, more than what the current Titan XP is selling for right now. So it would just hurt them, honestly, in the long run. And the argument that Tweaktown is making for this is that because the GTX 1080s are selling for around $1,000 right now, they wouldn't want to put out a card at an MSRP of $600 to basically undercut their previous generation, which honestly doesn't make sense. It does not make sense that they would go that route and do that, because the GTX 1080 is at end of life. NVIDIA is no longer producing GTX 1080 GPUs. Any GPUs they have produced are already in the hands of the add-in board partners, the manufacturers of those, as well as distributors. So they are no longer making profit off of the 1080s. Every 1080 that they've made has been sold. It's out the door. They're not making a profit when someone goes out and spends $1,000, $1,500, whatever, on an NVIDIA GPU. They made whatever they made when they sold it to the add-in board partners at retail, or in the back end, really, for them to sell them at retail. And they're not making any additional profit on that. That's the reason you've seen all of the founders' cards over on the NVIDIA website. When they have them in stock, they are selling them at the advertised MSRP and nothing above that. Now, could we see a price increase on the GTX 2080? I would say that could be likely, as they've already tried that out with the Founders Edition cards previously, selling those more. So maybe going from $599 up to $699 on the flagship card like the 2080. I think that's a much more realistic possibility than them trying to completely shoot themselves in the foot and offer these cards at $1,500, which I don't think gamers would pay that much, honestly. You might have a few people. I mean, unless they aren't planning on putting these cards out with a 100% performance increase over the previous generation, I don't see anyone going out and spending $1,500 on these cards except miners. And that's only if the cards are amazing for cryptocurrency mining, which again would really hurt NVIDIA if that was the case, because right now we are looking for someone to kind of take up the mantle and make that not the case and make these cards kind of, not as good for mining, better for gamers, and a good competitive price where gamers can actually afford the cards, and more importantly, having the supply to fill the current demand in the market. So that's really the direction I see NVIDIA going with this. I do not see them selling these cards for $1,500. If you agree or disagree, please let me know down in the comments below, as I think this could bring about an interesting discussion. Now, I also did want to talk about a recent report from John Petty Research, who has said that last year over 3 million graphics cards were sold to miners alone, which is a huge amount of graphics cards to be going directly to miners. And a lot of this could even just be direct selling. Some add-in board partner cards and companies like AMD and NVIDIA are selling them directly to miners. That is a realistic thing. I was at CES back in January, and I was there talking with a certain add-in board partner that I won't name, but when he was asked if they were selling cards directly to miners, they basically gave a very tongue-in-cheek response to like, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about. when, yeah, it was like pretty much just like saying, yes, we are doing this. We are selling pallets of graphics cards directly to miners, taking them out of the hands of gamers, which is understandable from where they're coming from. If they're paying more for these cards, or if they can make bigger profit off of the cards, of course they're going to do that because they want to make more money at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that's all add-in board partner cards, but some companies are very likely selling directly to the miners themselves. And I'm not of this illusion that graphics cards should belong to one side or the other. I don't think graphics cards are made to be said, okay, these cards, these are for gamers, and only gamers can buy graphics cards. I honestly think that that's a silly argument. Obviously, as a PC gamer and a content creator, I want to see gamers being able to get cards. I just recently tried to help a buddy find a GTX 1080 Ti. He was trying to spend under $900, which is fairly reasonable, but yeah, it was very difficult to find him a card, and he still hasn't ordered one yet. Although I know some cards have been showing up on Newegg over the past few days for $8.99. He's just been kind of waiting around on nowinstock.net, hoping that they come in stock. But yeah, I have no disillusionment that these cards should be made for one side or the other. I think that's just a lot of self-entitlement from the gamers saying that these cards should only be sold to gamers. Like, no, miners are consumers just like gamers, and it's up to the manufacturers, I feel, and the GPU designers to kind of segment the market in a way that they can to try to still, feed the gamers as well as the cryptocurrency miners, because both of them are equal opportunity consumers. It's just that the miners are willing to pay way more for their cards right now. So really what these GPU manufacturers should be looking to do is to making a card or a GPU rather, that takes advantage of both markets and helps both sides out equally so that they can profit off of it. But there's also, a lot of fear in that, because if the cryptocurrency crashes, or if cryptocurrency miners find a better way to mine it, like with Bitcoin, when that became popular a few years back, the GPU mining was pretty much squashed overnight when ASIC miners became more readily available, and that's mostly what is used to mine Bitcoin now. Graphics cards are being used to mine other forms of cryptocurrency like Ethereum and many of the other hundreds of coins that are being put out into the market seemingly every single day. And now even CPUs are being used to mine as well on several of the coins out there like Monero. So yeah, I think it's really up to the GPU makers and manufacturers to be getting these cards out to help both sides rather than just one side or the other, because yeah, it's just kind of entitled to say that these cards are only for gamers. But just like the previous story, I want to hear your guys' feedback down in the comments below. Please let me know what you think on whether or not NVIDIA will be selling their GTX 2080s for $1,500 when they release in April, if they release in April. That's what the current rumor says anyway. And also, do you think miners or gamers are more entitled to cards one way or the other? Or do you think it's up to the manufacturers to really get this stuff sorted out themselves? But I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. The sources for today's stories, as always, will be linked down in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video or learned something new, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe if you're not already. And I will see you in the next video. Tara.